with you. And we are here to share with you information as normal and as usual, because we are a party of concern and we are concerned about the people of Dominica. And so by and large, we have been doing this for 24 years. How many years now? 38 years we are existing. But that's a lot of years, But 24 years in opposition, we must take a little tap on our back. So I will do a little clapping there tonight. Yes, so Dominicans, welcome. Before we proceed with our program tonight, I just want to, read some, persons who have departed from our land and will be buried in subsequent days. Let me just say to my own aunt, Honora Shillingford from Stieber Street, she passed away Sunday past. I just want to say on behalf of our family, those who are overseas and everybody, her siblings and her nieces, nephews, and everyone, just hold strong. Everything will be all right. Let me just say again that we have the Honorable Julius Timothy, who will be having his Christian burial on Saturday, the 15th of November 2005 at the St. Alphonsus Catholic Church, beginning from 2 p.m. in the afternoon. And obviously tomorrow, Mrs. Doreen Marie Simon, the wife of Nelson Simon, will be laid to rest tomorrow, Friday, the 14th of November. She was from Lowdown. She resided in Cochrane. She'll be laid to rest at the public cemetery tomorrow at the Catholic cemetery, but a Christian burial will be tomorrow, and the mass funeral service begins at 2:00 tomorrow at the St. Alphonsus Church. So we just wish the families and them, we condole on your behalf, and we wish that everything will go all right, and you'll hold strong and continue to pray to your Lord. The good Lord never give us more than we want. Let me say today was an interesting day, and tonight we'll be deliberating on some of the issues that surfaced recently. We had the press conference by the Prime Minister today, and we'll be responding, of course, and certain other areas, of concern. Let me just say good night to the United Workers' Party executive members and all of the caretakers, and to Dominicans all over Dominica. I say good night to you. Wherever you are listening, we welcome you. This program is always a program of interaction, and we expect persons who call to interact to have your say, but do this respectfully. We will respect you, but respect, the program. We take ownership for it. So be mindful of what you say, and what you say is correct. But tonight with me, I have our past president and also our past candidate for the Cassibus constituency, city developer, you call him a planning person, developer by profession. He has his own business, has been involved in so many consultancies in Dominica and in the region and extra-regional. Mr. Isaac Baptist, I welcome you tonight. And also our political leader, Dr. Thompson Fontaine, economist by profession and the political leader of our esteemed party, the United Workers' Party. So tonight, as I said, we'll be revisiting some of the things that were pronounced at the, press conference that the Prime Minister held earlier today, and some response. But before I do so, let me just call on the gentleman present to just give their brief introduction. Mr. Isaac Baptist, good night.
Bonsoir, good night, Susu, and good night to the listening public. It's a long time I've not been in the studio.
Oh, yeah.
To speak to some of the issues impacting Dominica. It's good being here. Let me say good night to all the listeners. Particularly, let me extend condolences to the family of Julius Timothy and his many employees in ACS. He was a very successful businessman, a very dedicated person, developer, and someone that could identify with everyone that he encountered. So I wish him peaceful rest, and I'm looking forward, but I expect to be present at his official funeral on Saturday. Tonight, I will be trying to help to contribute to some of the issues that you'll be discussing. here. I listened to the Prime Minister at his press conference, and there are some statements that he made. As Prime Minister of the country, of course, he's free to make statements, but I think he made some statements that could be very considered misleading and irresponsible on his part as the political leader of Dominica and Prime Minister. So as we go forward, we'll discuss this.
Yes, thank you. Doc?
Yes, let me say good night to our many listeners, and of course to you, Soso, and to Baptist. It's good to have you in studio with us tonight. Certainly great to have you. And to our many listeners across Dominica, a very special good night to all of you. Let me just say a big thank you, especially to our supporters, faithful. I've never seen more faithful supporters. Over all of these years, they've maintained their support for the United Workers' Party, and we are just happy, that we have such very strong and powerful supporters. The reason why we are doing what you're doing, and we're really looking forward to a very good discussion tonight.
Yes, thank you, gentlemen, and we go straight into it. Gentlemen, today I listened to the Prime Minister, and I had to review some of what has been said, and it's interesting, and Doc, you'll respond accordingly, but let me just give me a time to just, bite out and some song bites from what he said. And the Prime Minister seemed to had won this press conference to be predicated on lies, and he wanted to point his lies to and direct it at our political leader. But King Liar, always King Liar, and I always maintain, if you a liar who knows another liar better, so I am not believing that our political leader has denied things he said, so he's not lying. He has not lied. But let me just remind the Prime Minister quickly before we deliberate that on Tuesday, the 3rd of June at 11 o'clock a.m., Prosperity, I don't even go in. I'm not even going there. Yes, yeah. Let me not say that. This there. In terms of the lies, I just want Mr. Baptist to listen and you will react to what I'm saying. I don't know if the Prime Minister forgot that, he had a situation with his dual citizenship matter. He and Peter Serja, where it was said that, he had dual citizenship. What the Dominicans heard after the fact? Did we hear that the Prime Minister renounced his citizenship after the fact? I will leave this aspect for Mr. Crispin Gregoire to clarify for us. But will you come to the conclusion that this is tantamount to a lie? You make your own judgment. You remember, Mr. Prime Minister, the Syria diplomatic relations matter, where Dominica established diplomatic ties with the Republic of Syria, and next we know the government washed its hands like Pontius Pilate, seeking to cast blame at the then ambassador, Mrs. Lauren Barnes Roberts. What was this? Is this tantamount to lying? Who is lying here? You recall that your government claimed to have settled all payments to landowners who are affected by the airport project. Yet, many persons are still left unpaid. What do you have to say about this? Does this equate to a lie? So who is lying? Mr. Baptist, your reaction.
Well, there are many issues facing Dominica. We all know the economic and social problems facing Dominica today. But presently, at this point in time, the most burning concern Dominicans have, particularly those persons who are qualified to vote in an election, is the question of the administration of the newly passed legislation, that is the Registration Act for electors and also the House of Assembly Act, what we call under the general take of electoral reform. We know what transpired, for it's dating back to 2010 or thereabout, even earlier than that. But the United Workers' Party and the Freedom Party and others have made genuine calls for the need to have free and fair elections in Dominica. And among the issues that were recognized as being serious problems is the fact that we had a voters list that is overly bloated. Many persons that should be on the list, that should be removed on the list, or not removed from the list. And the fact that the administration was abusing the process in terms of its incumbency situation. And there was outright theft in elections. The CCJ, Caribbean Court of Justice, even observed that there should not be another election in Dominica under the existing legislation. We of the United Workers' Party felt, and we rightfully said, that the approach should be to have a complete registration of voters in Dominica. and also address the issue of campaign financing regulations, so that the abuse of incumbency, the fact that the current government has access to so much, Labour Party, have access to so much largesse, so that we won't have a situation in the country where the opposition is in a disadvantaged situation. The matter was debated, the matter went through all over the place and so on. We went throughout the country. And Dominicans, the legislation that was adopted in March of this year was not the ideal. It was not what we wanted. But we recognize that, you have to try and settle at some point. So we accepted, okay, notwithstanding the fact that persons were arrested, persons, including a political leader, senior citizens, honest and citizens were arrested for no reason and put in jail and before the court on the electoral reform issue. So one would have expected, Papa Bonte, at least, having gone through all of that, the government and the Electoral Commission, which is an independent body under the Constitution, would make sure that it enforces the legislation that is passed. Make it a quick situation of enforcing legislation and not a political exercise. And what the Electoral Commission has done is to allow the Dominican Labour Party and the government in office, right, to hijack the process, have effectively hijacked the process of the electoral reform that should be taking place right now. That is the confirmation of electors who are on an existing list and ensuring that persons who are qualified to be registered, 18 years and over, are registered.
That's correct.
Right? They abuse the process with the knowledge of the Dominican Labour Party and with the knowledge of the Prime Minister. So for today, for the Prime Minister to come to the nation to give the impression that, hey, I just hear, as I just hear that these guys are planning or have decided they will not accept the preferred form of confirmation for persons who want to be confirmed. That is, they have a birth certificate to prove that their age and so forth. They have a photo ID. They have an affidavit from a justice of the peace to show that is confirming that they are that person. And most importantly, they have a witness stating that. And you have the Electoral Commission with a majority of persons who were appointed by the government, but the third one is technically appointed by the government. And we know who they are. And for them to have changed the regulation that would have allowed the ease of confirmation, then you find that the Prime Minister is now coming to give the impression that I am now the hero, I'm going to instruct. Because basically, when you listen to him, I'm going to instruct the Electoral Commission to do what the people are asking for. But that's what we have been asking for.
Only that.
This is what we have asked for. This is what we have demanded. And we have demanded, and the Electoral Commission, if they do not provide it, the people will take it, will ensure that they take it. So I am happy that the Prime Minister recognized that the demands of the public, particularly the opposition parties and concerned Dominicans, will be respected by the Electoral Commission. And that the law, which the Electoral Commission has blatantly violated, that is the continuous registration of persons. The Act provides for that. I have the Act in my hand right there. See, there shall be continuous registration. The Prime Minister says, well, I give them computers, I give them this and that. You can't understand why they have stopped the continuous registration. Mr. Prime Minister must not do that to the people of Dominica. I have always said many times, the behavior of the government with respect to that electoral reform is a provocation of the people. And I'm pleased to know that he has at least come and said, the commission, you have to do what the right thing. And we expect within the next week, the process will be put in place so people can be confirmed and based on the legislation and the requirements and ease of confirmation. All the issues will be addressed as we go forward. But this is a burning issue that we have to put forward. And do not let the Prime Minister come with the impression that I'm now the hero. I'm the one that brought in the Electoral Commission to do what they're doing. It's the people who demanded it. And thank you, the people of the shall continue to demand when it is right. Thank you.
So yes, interestingly, there is a tale of two press conferences. There was another press conference on Thursday and one today. The press conference on Thursday brought together the Electoral Reform Commission and the political leaders of the three major parties here in Dominica, opposition parties, that is. And as part of my contribution, it was to demand that the Electoral Commission revert to SRO 27, revert to the use of the birth certificate along with the affidavit and the picture ID, to revert to that as a means of having an ID for it. And the second area I really focused on was the registration, the fact that they are stalled registration. And I reminded them, according to Article 17.1, that they really are not acting legally, that they needed to reinstate. And lo and behold, today we are seeing a notice.
Yeah.
Mark you, since May, they stopped registering people since May of this year. We've been shouting and screaming about it. We again highlighted it at the press conference. And now, for the very first time, we are seeing something from the Electoral Office. And then we heard this press conference this afternoon, which quite frankly was a press conference that was called to discuss Thompson. Thompson Fontaine.
Yes.
You know, because when you look at it, I cannot imagine that a whole month has been going on. We've been screaming at the top of our lungs about this unfair process. And for the very first time, we're hearing the Prime Minister on this particular issue. I mean, I'm happy that he agrees with us that they should reinstate the birth certificate and that they should do. I'm very happy for that, you know. But why did it take him so long? We've been talking about that. We've been talking about how that has been so illegal. And so he tried to raise a couple of things at the press conference, which I think is important that I respond to it, because, you know, I take it very, very seriously when a prime minister can go before the public of Dominica and try to paint me as a liar when the truth is certainly on my side. So let me explain to the Dominican public, and then they will decide who is the liar in all of this. He talked about what I said at the Kalinago territory. We had a town hall in the Kalinago territory, and in response to a question from one of the participants at the town hall, who said, you know, the fact that it's going to cost $150 for them to get the IDs, it's expensive and so on, he quoted me correctly. And he quoted me to say that those who do not have IDs, we will do everything possible as the party, will do everything possible to ensure that they get their IDs, because we want every single vote. He quoted me correctly. But then he went on to say that I said that I would facilitate.
Oh, my king liar.
What is that you don't understand? That we'll do everything. And one of the things in ensuring everything was to appeal to that same government to have an amnesty on the granting of passports, to push for the Electoral Commission to reintroduce the birth certificates. That is what we're talking about. We don't have $700,000, and he knows that. We don't have $700,000 to give 3,000 people passports in Dominica, which is what we estimate, 3,000 to 4,000, probably more than that, persons who will need some type of assistance to get passport. We don't have that. But to say that, to transform what I said in terms of doing everything possible to help and to make sure that they get their IDs, to say that we facilitate them, that we're going to pay for them.
No.
And then to say I flip-flop when I say they were doing wrong. No, because all along, we've had a concern that even when the Electoral Commission was promoting the use of the birth certificate, they were promoting the use of the birth certificate initially, that the same Labour Party, they were going around the country offering people passports. And I was wondering about why it is that they were offering people passports when there was a birth certificate option.
Right.
And later on, we found out exactly why they were doing that. So to now pretend that, hey, I'm surprised, you know, that they have done away with it and so on. I mean, it is very, you know, I suspect the only reason why the Prime Minister is adopted that approach right now is because a number of persons, I'm told, that were receiving those passports. They're saying, well, thank you very much.
For your passport.
Bye-bye, Dominica. Bye-bye, Dominica.
They go ahead.
They
Yes.
live it. So they were not using, I mean, some of them at least were saying that, thank you very much for the passport. Okay, bye-bye, Dominica. They were living. So apparently the process has not been going as he saw it, But to say that I flip-flopped on this is certainly a lie. That's number one. Then there was the issue of the 80-year-old person living in Antigua. And what he missed conveniently was I was making a contrast. I said, if you have two Dominicans, you have an 80-year-old Dominican who has gone overseas and is now has gone overseas for 40 years, but their name is on the list. They no longer have a Dominican passport, but they have an Antiguan passport because they have to come back to Dominica to confirm. So I said, when they come back to Dominica, they can get confirmed in 10 minutes because they're allowed to use their Commonwealth passport. Okay, as an Antiguan, as a Dominican on the list, on the voters list already, the legislation is very clear. All you need is a passport. All right, and that passport is a Commonwealth passport, gives you the ability to register. The electoral office has said that. So that person coming from Antigua will be able to register in 10 minutes. An 80-year-old Dominican without a passport cannot register because they don't have a Commonwealth passport. So what is so difficult in that to understand? So that is the point I was making about the 80-year-old. And I will stand by it, again and again and again. And then, he also went on to say that I said the birth certificate removal had been removed as a preferred form is false. But that is the basis. He himself said it. So you see, he said that it was false. So I saw a rather confused Prime Minister. And, and the question that was asked, which is very worrisome to me, the question that was asked by Curtis Matthew, talking about whether or not, I'm paraphrasing now, that, with all of the confirmation and so on going on, what assurances can he give about elections and so on? And then he resorted to the comfort of the Constitution. Oh, the Constitution is supreme. I cannot violate the Constitution. Here, who's talking about violation
of Constitution?
All he needed to say is that he would allow the process to go through. If there is some really extenuating circumstance that forces you to call an election, I can understand. And you can reserve that right. But why not give the Dominican people the assurance that you support this confirmation? So I can tell you, quite frankly, from my own reading of what the Prime Minister said, and the fact that what he did deliberately was to try to paint me as a liar, is that was a campaign move. The Prime Minister is preparing for elections.
Yes, and just for clarity and just to clarify to the public, it is not just the birth certificate standalone. It is the birth certificate with a photo ID and affidavit of identity signed by Justice of Peace. So that's the package, other than the other government IDs. That is one of the options that we're fighting for and for long. And by the way, let me just, before Mr. Isaac comment, just to remind the Prime Minister that, even on the with respect to if you should just tell the Dominican public that he's trying to copy what you have been saying all along. And before I pose that question, before you comment on that, I will read that to you when you're about to come. But Mr. Isaac Baptist, the Prime Minister say is that as if that the opposition parties are confused. In your view, is that the case, or the Prime Minister sound confused?
Confused about it.
Well, he said, well, the amount of the things that we are saying, that we are confusing people with both paper and the ID.
Let me, before I answer your question, let me also thank the Electoral Reform Coalition Group, Dominican Freedom Party, the Joshua's Party, and the other persons there who have consistently demanded and wrote to the Commission, wrote to the Chief Election Officer, demanding, together with United Workers' Party, of course, demanding that this thing be reinstated. The only confusion that is there is the Prime Minister. Confusion as to whether I should call an election or whether I should not call an election. But the fact is that I posed the same question to the Prime Minister when he hijacked the arrangements of the ERC at the CSA Center, whether you will call an election before the confirmation process completes. The Prime Minister talks about his constitutional right. I don't know, it's not his constitutional
That's all right.
He can advise, and he recognizes that he can advise the president. It's the president that has to act on behalf of the people. And I remember taking Losty from the president when she was, no, I'm serious about this, taking Losty at Castleberry's church when she was a lay person. And I would hope that her conscience tells her that I cannot be administering or be responsible, approve a law that gives the country and the government 1 year to ensure that allow everybody who wants to get confirmed. And that I have the power to accept or reject a request for an election.
Yeah.
And that within a couple months of the process coming into play, I am going to approve. I hope that the bishop will talk to her if he ever tried to do something like that. And I would seriously hope that the Prime Minister recognizes that, yes, under the Constitution, he has the authority to advise the president to issue a writ for election. But under the Constitution, the people who have the right, you have to vote, they protect their right to vote. And if you are taking it away from me when I have a year under legislation to do it, you're also taking my right under the Constitution.
Yes.
So let us see what is going. But I would strongly urge the Prime Minister to be responsible, to ensure that he allows the process to proceed without interference. It is unfortunate that we have an electoral commission and the commissioners themselves are publicly showing that there is no unity, there's no understanding, that one is pulling the way and what the other pulling way. The two appointed by the United Workers' Party is clearly working on behalf of the people, but the other three are working on behalf of a party, which is very, very unfortunate because they are senior lawyers in the community. So let us see what happens with the question about an election.
And then when you think about the electoral commission itself, not even being able to run a registration, can they run an election?
So that point.
If you cannot even register people, can you tell when, if the Prime Minister were to call an election, as you said, tomorrow or December, if he were to do that, can the Electoral Commission have it now issued a document to the Dominican public saying that we are not in a position to do registrations? Can that same Electoral Commission now tell the Dominican public that they're in a position to run a whole election?
This is a genuine question, but the fact is that knowing the people, the majority there, they likely, the president, my layman understanding, will have to should consult the commission, and the commission acting responsibly should advise the president that no, we are not in a position to administer election right now. And not only that, the law provides for us to have 1 year, and we can even extend it if we want to another 3 months. And seeing that the Prime Minister have years to go before the 5-year term, so the people of Dominica should have the priority as to the decision with respect to an election.
Yes, and so the Prime Minister himself admitted that, look, the Electoral Commission is an independent creature of the Constitution. Fair enough, but it should be, but we know it's not. Because you've just made the point, Dr. Thompson Fontaine, an interesting point, that now the electoral office has now released an announcement stating that they have suspended new registration. Is that correct?
That's correct.
But when it came,
dated today.
Who is interfering with the Electoral Commission right now, or electoral process? And notwithstanding that, for those who have gone to him before, he's saying, well, don't come to me, or you should not have come to me because I'm not responsible. And those who are intended to go to him, he said, don't even come because I'm not there. The Electoral Commission that is responsible. But we know that is just a thing. But that is very serious. Because Mr. Isaac Baptist raised a good point, that we are in the process of the reconfirmation where that period is 1 year in the first instance, and at the discretion of the commission, they can go an additional 3 months. Good to know. That is ongoing, which means that we are preparing so every Dominican would have an ID card. Should the Prime Minister call elections now, write to the president and say, okay, look, solution of parliament, let's go out. Right now, you are disenfranchising hundreds of Dominicans who would like now to do first time registration. Notwithstanding, there'll be a period that they can register. They should be able to register when all parliament is dissolved and the writ is given. It's to have a period. But remember, here the announcement, we suspend. So which means Really, ethically, Mr. Prime Minister, you cannot call. You cannot call an election.
In fact, I'm not
You
a
should
lawyer.
not- or you should not
I'm,
call an
I'm not a
election.
lawyer, but
Yeah.
something tells me on
Yes.
the weight of that, if
Yes.
the Prime Minister were to go ahead with an election,
Right.
on the weight of that, the election results can be overturned. You know,
Definitely.
because you cannot deny that fundamental right of registration.
Yes.
You know,
I personally believe that if based on that release by the Electoral Commission, again, the attorneys here, I don't know, there need to be persons who, it's true the political parties must do their part. And we as a party must look into it to take the matter
Yes.
and challenge the Electoral Commission for issuing that.
Yeah.
But the Bar Association should, acting on behalf of the people, the Christian Council, etc., should take this issue up because it's a national issue, it's a national concern, and point out to the fact that we need to
Yes.
we need to observe the law and respect the law.
Okay, we have a caller online. Caller, good evening to you. Welcome.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah. Why we have to talk about what Kerry doing and what he not doing and what he want and what he don't want. We disagree with it, and then we're telling the people to go ahead and get registered. Like the situation in Mount Prosperity Valley, and so Mount Prosperity should have its own place to register, and they want us to go Trafalgar, and we know it's wrong. A lot of people don't want to go there because we're going to pay the transportation for them. We're going to help the elderly and everything to go there and get organized. And yet, we know it's wrong, and we're fighting against it. And then we tell the people on the other side that they should, on the other hand, that they should go ahead and get registered.
okay, you know, caller, I want to address that. You know, it might seem to be a contradiction, but it is not. Okay, for the very simple reason the legislation has been passed. Okay, and because the legislation is in force, if you do not get confirmed, you will not be able to vote. Okay, and we need you to be able to vote. Okay, so because of that, we're encouraging people to confirm. We understand you have the problem, and that's a big issue, and that's the reason why. And in that same press conference, we had another of our demands, and we call it demands, not recommendations. We're demanding from the electoral office that they allow offices in all of the villages, that no village should be left. And there's a simple way that they can do it. If you say you have a question of resources, if you have the enrollment officers, they can be in Trafalgar from Monday to Wednesday, and they come to Mount Prosper Thursday and Friday. That's an easy thing to do. Move the enrollment officers.
What they're doing, they're coming to Mount Prosper?
No, I'm suggesting, we have suggested to the electoral office, if as they claim it's a problem of resources, then the same enrollment officers that are in Trafalgar, they can move them to Mount Prosper for 2 days in the week, 3 days in Trafalgar, 2 days. It's a lot easier to move these 2 or 3 individuals than to move an entire village. And I don't understand why they cannot do that. So we are fighting for that. We are pushing for that, you know, that either you have a confirmation, an enrollment center in every village, or if you say that's a problem, you rotate the officer. So that's what we are pushing for. But in the meantime, those who can confirm, we are asking them to confirm, because at the end of the day,
So you're telling me in the meantime we should give Skerrit what he wants and how he wants it, because Skerrit put his things, we are against Skerrit things, and then we go and we do it. So we're looking like some donkey or whatever it is. We doing Skerrit bidding, because I Skerrit bidding. I don't think nobody should leave Mount Prosper. I go nowhere at all and vote, because I for one and register. I for one not doing it.
Okay, well, I would hope.
Honestly, I'm for one not doing it, and I know it have a lot more of us that decide we're not going to Trafalgar and do that. Okay? This is a big problem for us in Mount Prosper.
And I agree with you. And it's a problem I believe the Electoral Commission can
listen
fix.
to that. Listen to me. Skerrit break things, and then he come and try to fix it, and then he have his way when he come with his street talk. Enough of Skerrit street talk in Dominica. We need to stand up and stand up serious. We're going on like a bunch of cowards right now. I'm getting pissed off with that thing right now. We're going on like a bunch of cowards in Dominica right now. One man show that going on there. Let's stop doing what the man wants us to do. If it's not good, it's not good. If it's good, it's good. If when we're going to act like it's good and we're going to take part in it, then he have his power on us. Let us just stop the nonsense that agree. Everybody's standing up together, and it's not good, and it's not good. I'm getting pissed off with that thing in Dominica right now.
Okay, caller, thank you. But we've heard you, and we will continue to advocate on it. Another caller?
Let's say the caller.
Yes, another caller. Caller, good evening to you.
Hello.
Yes, good evening.
Yes, my problem was with that. Why you cannot accept a birth certificate and an ID to register?
You have been muffled, you know. You have been muffled.
Huh?
Hello?
Yes, good evening.
Yes, now we are hearing you. Turn down the volume on your radio or your television set, whichever you
My
use.
television is off, my friend. Nothing is playing.
Okay, we're getting a feedback, but let's go.
What am I saying? Everywhere in the Caribbean, you only bring your birth certificate and an ID and a picture to verify that is you. So why they want you to get an ID card or a passport to come and register to vote? I don't see no reason in that. It's just a simple thing. All you have to register in what you used to just bring a birth certificate and a witness. I don't see why all the complication they want to have just to register to vote. They're just making life difficult for poor people.
Yeah.
Thank you, caller. Thank you.
Okay.
There's another call. Caller, good evening to you.
Good evening to the panelists on Q95.
Yes, good evening to you, ma'am.
Today I went and registered in the Point Michel Community Center.
You mean confirm?
But where they have the thing doing, it's upstairs the village council, the community center, and well, I am able to walk up the steps. But what about somebody that cannot walk up the steps? Somebody that is disabled, somebody that is on a wheelchair. Why should they put that thing upstairs? They should have that somewhere down so that everybody can have access to whatever they are doing. I find that is very, very, very wrong, and they're supposed to change it, because on the other side of the committee, it has a place that is flat where somebody can walk, can go. Somebody with a wheelchair you can put them there. But those steps and them we have there at the front and at the back they have there, that is not good for anybody that is disabled, that is on a wheelchair. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, caller. You know, the more I listen very quickly back, the more I listen to the complaints and everything else that goes on, and you wonder how is it that is the same commission that we're going to be asking to take us through an election that cannot take care of basic things like ensuring that Trafalgar, an entire village of Mount Prosper, does not have to go into Trafalgar to confirm. That you're not making it easy. A big community like Goodwill, for example, the largest in Dominica, have only 2 confirmation centers. So persons from Yampis and Stock Farm and so on, all the way to Foncole. You're moving entire villages.
For a couple of quick observations, like the last caller, the commission said that the electoral office said that they will be providing, facilitating persons with disabilities as far as the confirmation process, that persons will be coming to their home. So let us hope that they implement that very, very quickly. What's happening with this is why I said that they have converted what's supposed to be an administrative legal process into a political exercise. Because it is calculated. It is calculated that the constituencies where you have strong United Workers' Party support, the level of the number, the confirmation centers are absent or very few. The people are frustrated in doing that. It is a fact. It's not hearsay. It is a fact that well before the confirmation process started, the Dominica Labour Party operatives were in the different villages, including Castlebrooks, where I'm from. I have more Castlebrooks till the weekend. I'm Castlebrooks all the time. That they were passing in those villages there, facilitating, getting people name their addresses and so on. In one community, one envelope. Someone told me that when they observed what was inside the envelope, they opened it was how many tens of passport forms completed there. A Labour Party operative has it in hand to take to the Labour Party office. It is the fact that many of the persons who have been recruited, employed in those confirmation centers as enrollment officers, they are Labour Party operatives. And we know that the Labour Party operatives, those who believe that Labour is everything, they misbehave. They lack manners. They are not fair. They're not reasonable. And you would have expected that after all of this process, where the other islands were 60,000 people, you could re-register persons within 3 months. We, as the United Workers' Party in the opposition, accepted, okay, we will lean backwards and let it happen. And now that it is happening, you are still using your political advantage to abuse the process, to frustrate persons, and so forth. So for the people of Trafalgar and Wharton Waven and so on, and we will, United Workers' Party and the Electoral Reform Coalition, continue to ask and pressure the Electoral Commission and as well as the Electoral Office to increase the number of confirmation centers in the villages. We'll continue to demand and ask the Electoral Commission to review some of those persons who are there, have been appointed enrollment officers, so that we have persons who are more balanced. And the location, the facilities where some of these facilities, the centers are. People say Makalila, because say Kailebo, Makalila. I mean, why would you want to do something like that in this day and age? You are provoking the people. And at some point, the people will get fed up and nobody will want what's happening, but it will be a provocation.
Yes, well said. Yes, caller, good evening. Workers' Voice.
So for Rosso.
Hey,
my brother.
family. Hello, it's been a while.
Yeah, how you do? How you do?
Not bad at all, man.
Yeah, Dr. Fontaine and Mr. Isaac, greeting.
Yes,
Greetings. Good evening.
My way of looking at things in terms of that SRNO, to me, the best argument I hear about that issue is from Delbert Paris. And I'll tell you why. To me, that SNRO is illegal because the Electoral Commission haven't got the power to make any law. They can make regulation. But if Parliament make a law and say they could use the birth paper, a photo ID, and a witness, the regulation they're making is to facilitate the law. They cannot just change the law. Like it looks like the Electoral Commission is making a new law saying that no, you cannot use that way. You cannot use your birth paper and you cannot use your photo ID and your witness. That doesn't make any sense because what they're supposed to do is facilitate the laws Parliament make. They have got more power than Parliament. Parliament is the highest body, lawmaking body of the land. So I hear some people saying, excuse me, that they have the right to make regulation. Yes. But they have got no right to make any law. So that is illegal.
Caller, sorry. Just one thing to be clear. The law, the Registration of Electors 2025 law did not specify the forms of ID. It does not for confirmation. It does not. And that's the reason why the Electoral Office, but it gave it gave the office to do it, but it was not specified. If it was, that would have been a big problem.
They could not have done it anyway.
They could not have changed it.
That is where they blame the Cocoa Macaque.
For example, in the law has for the registration, how to register is in the law. It mentions the birth certificate, but it did not do it for confirmation.
And I agree with you that's the case. But that in itself is a problem because you cannot leave it to the commission to do what they want. They should have it in law what you need. When they leave it up to the commission could do anything like what they're doing.
Exactly. I think it was a mistake. I think in the rush to get this legislation, they just made a mess of it.
It's not rushed.
They made a mess of it.
That's not no rush. They know exactly what they're doing because you have to realize it was never their intention to have a free and fair election in Dominica. You know, we look like we're forgetting the history. The Labour Party and Scary, at no time, the intention was to have a fair system. When I hear some people say, oh, the United Workers' Party lose and we're tired of losing, my brother, I don't buy that. The Labour Party been stealing election for the past couple cycles. They have never won a free and fair election from Maybe 2005 was the last time maybe I could say. But they always still in Thompson. Up to now, we don't know where those billion of dollars went, for the sale of our passport, They're bringing down the people, voting 2, 3, 4 times. These guys they don't play fair, they don't play clean. What you facing? You're not facing a traditional political party, The Labour Party, Roosevelt Party is not a traditional political party. All what they're doing is Kokomaka, stealing, deceiving, lying. Now I am Mr. Baptist say about the president, and that's why I have the problem again. She's gonna do whatever Scary tell her because she is a lawbreaker. She was campaigning on political platform as a civil servant, which is illegal. And you reward her by giving her to be head of our constitution. And the constitution is the main laws of the country. These people dirty. And you have to call it as it is. They never play fair terms. That's not.
Yes, you can wind up, please. Wind up, please. Yeah, wind up, please. Wind up. We have a lot of calls coming in.
Okay.
Yeah,
what I send so is that we have to open our eyes and watch these guys. We have to study the tricks and beat them with their own tricks.
That's what we are doing. That's what we
have to use tricks, but we have ways you could spin them out because you have to call them out for what it is.
We have been doing this.
They don't play fair. And they're trying to mama guide people 24/7 to stay in power. Thank you.
Thank you for your contribution. Another call? Good evening, caller. Good evening to you.
Good evening, Soso.
Yes.
Good evening to the political leader and good evening to Mr. Baptist.
Good evening.
Yes, good evening.
As Mr. Baptist has said, what the fellas do to calculate it. They know exactly which are the districts or the villages that voted against them. So they did that to frustrate the people. And Mr. Baptist is not only more prosperous. Up here in Warner is a polling district. Warner people vote in Warner. But they have to go down to Mahu to register. Because generally, Warner people have never voted for Labour. They always vote in United Workers' Party.
Yep.
So that is why they're frustrating the people. And all over the country, it is the same thing. I think if you are listening to the Prime Minister's this afternoon, he was asking Duncan Stowe to revisit that thing about the birth certificate. He's not in favor of you having so many IDs to reconfirm an issue. But I believe that it came from this place, but not more maybe because of pressure from influential people. You pretending as a Duncan Stowe. That's all I said on this first program. It is right for Duncan Stowe because they are supposed to be an independent organization and carry themselves at the press conference. So, what we get, let's take it.
Yes. Thank you. Another caller? Good evening, caller.
Good evening again. I'm calling from Point Michelle.
Yes.
You and Dr. Fountain has to come up Point Michelle and see that because their office opens from 9 to 5 on Monday, 9 to 5 on Tuesday, on Wednesday nothing, Thursday 9 to 5, on Saturday 9 to 3.
Yes.
So take a drive and come and see the place for you all eyes to boil your peace. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank
We'll
you.
certainly do that. Okay, we missed this caller.
Yeah, as I was about to say that it's all calculated. And that's my personal view, the discontinuation of continuous registration, I also believe it's calculated. Calculated, I say so because you can use the birth certificate, picture ID, and witness option to register.
Right.
So they haven't recognized that, hey, the people are going to tell us, how comes I can use it to register and I cannot use it to confirm? So they stop the registration.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It's calculated.
Yeah, calculated.
It's
Yeah.
May, and
Very
and
true.
you tell me you cannot develop a simple software over all of those months to do that.
It's calculated.
Yes, caller. Good evening.
Explain politics.
Wait, this caller. Yes. Good evening, caller. Yes, and
No, but it's really shameful though. That's you have absolutely no confidence in this process.
But Doc, ready. I mean, the caller made a point earlier when you talk about illegality. Doc, even the suspension there of new registration. That to me is real illegal. Because continuous registration,
Because it's illegal.
continuous registration is registered.
But also, I don't even buy what they say in the thing, because what has changed from the previous law for registration is the same thing.
It's same thing, same thing.
It's the same
Yeah, it's the same
process.
thing.
Yeah.
So what form you have to manipulate and so, and these things you can do in a shake, you can do in quick time.
No. It's because they recognize that people will make the point to them about it, so they said, okay, let us stop the registration.
Breaking the law.
Yes, caller, good evening to you.
Good evening. The guy called Sosu.
Yes, good evening to you, sir.
Who knows those machine they order they bring there is good machine. Right there, they have Kukuma the machine and then because for history, that company they get the machine from, all you don't hear in there is a bad company. Well, you don't see scared already. All that problem scared looking for there. You start laughing all of this afternoon in the thing. Scary thing, last boy. I laugh. I don't even know what to say now.
Yep.
I don't know. I can understand that is a prime minister and people love me so much. People really love me, bro. Oh my God!
Yeah, but it's important for us.
Thank you, caller.
We need to
Thank you.
need to reemphasize that persons who have the documents, the prescribed documents for confirmation, they should proceed to confirm, because the law. This is the law, so we can observe it. We are going to keep the pressure on the Electoral Commission, the Chief Elections Officer, and those on the government as well, because we know that the Prime Minister says the Electoral Commission is an independent, but the behavior of the three commissioners appointed by the Dominican Labour Party and the President, they are operatives of the Dominican Labour Party,
and they're just not up to the task.
So therefore, we will keep the pressure on them to do the right things, and let us hope that their conscience tells them that we need to do the right thing by the people of Dominica. But those of you who have the documents and can get confirmed, do that, because you do not want a situation where it's time to vote and you cannot vote because of the fact that you did not confirm. I don't know if I would like to make a point on
go ahead.
another issue that raised by the Prime Minister at his press conference.
Yes.
And that is the issue of the international airport and the request by Mrs. Annie Edwards, a former acting head of the physical planning department, that she asked and she wrote to the chief planner seeking copies of the environmental reports as to relate to the international airport. Just all that she asked for. Nothing that will stop project, nothing that will cause the discontinuation or what, etc. Just to get the information, because she herself is an environmental specialist. She's from the Wesley area. She has a right to ask for these things. And let me quote the section of the law that is applicable here. Section 84 of the Physical Planning Act, right?
Yes.
Lists a number of areas that the chief physical planner is required. It said that the chief physical planner shall maintain a register of applications for a grant of development permission, decisions on application referred to in paragraph A, and it lists another 11 other items.
Right.
In fact, 12 other items, right? In total, 13
Okay.
that the planning division and the chief physical planner needs to have records of for public access.
Right.
And section 82.2 says, any person who so requests shall be provided by the chief physical planner with a copy of any entry in the register upon payment of the prescribed fee.
Nothing was done wrong.
She wrote asking for the information and you did not provide it. She's now applying to the court to cause the chief physical planner to provide that information. The Prime Minister at his press conference is given the impression that Mrs. Annie Edwards and others like myself and other persons who are criticizing the approach of the government, not the international airport, the approach of the government to such an important major physical development project, infrastructure, will not that what we are trying to do is to
Stop.
stop the
King
program.
liar.
You have to engage lawyers. Technical people are supposed to be doing other work. Now have to look for information.
Yes,
It is crap
Crap,
nonsense.
man.
I mean, you cannot be a prime minister of a country and going out there and giving that kind of impressions of persons who have devoted their lives to the development of the country and the protection of the country. You can build international airport over the whole of Dominica, If you do not protect the resources of the country and the attractions in the country, you are not going to get the tourists to come in. And therefore, if you're undertaking that project in such a way that you're causing harm to the environment and to the people of Wesley who are in the area and so on, then it is only reasonable that those of us who are concerned raise it up. And if you are serious about it, you will say, something, there's no rush to complete that.
That's correct.
Because right now we have international flights coming in. Yes, I need to get those coming from across the Atlantic into Dominica and so on, but let us take our time to implement this project.
That's correct. Yes, caller. Good evening. Oh, we lost this caller. Yes, and Doc, I think I heard him said something like in 2019 you made claims as if that was election fraud and you could not bring the evidence forward. Something like that. But I do know too, in 2019 I contested the general elections. And in Roseau Central, we had sworn. Okay, this is a caller. Good evening.
Yeah, you will respond to that.
Yes, you respond. Yes. Good evening.
Hello.
Good evening, sir.
Hello.
Good evening.
Yes.
It's a monster all you create in Dominica. A bunch of hyenas, 90% for them and 10% for the country, and they still have to get in the 10%. And they refuse to leave office. And all you have that thing like is a joking thing. We tired talk. 5,000-6,000 people. Let us go and stand up and demand what we want in the country. We need to mobilize ourselves. We need to move. It's frustrating. It's sickening to see what's happening to Dominica. Let us get serious and do what we have to do. Let us mobilize the people and go out there and demand that we want things to happen, not their way. It's not their way working for, they're working for us. What are you doing? Come on, man, we need to do better than that. The talking not helping. Serious thing. Every night we come, we talk, every day we talk, and the same thing, Scary just laughing and doing this nonsense. Let us mobilize the people and get them people out of office. Please. Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller. I'm happy the people have heard you, and accordingly, they will act. So, Doc, yes, I was saying it.
Yeah, sure. So, again, Skerrit got this wrong. I reported here, I think it was last week, that during the festivities, someone from Canada told me that they have spoken to an individual who said that they voted 3 times in Dominica.
That's
and they gave me the guy's name.
Right.
Okay, so I know this person, but I know the person's father. So I reported that.
Right.
Right. Now we have reported all evidence of wrongdoing in petitions,
That's
election,
correct.
petition, year, election, after election cycle. And what has happened to it?
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. So now we're saying, you should, like the police the police are going to investigate this Dominica police force that we have there, where the only strength they have, as we say, the only force they have is on the opposition. They are going to investigate.
But Doc, it's the same Prime Minister who said he had evidence that there was racketeering taking place in the Labour division, and he had evidence he could report to the police. Instead, you know what he said? Fix it. Fix it. He could have reported, he said. But he said, fix it. But you're not going to fix things for us. We'll fix you. All right. Listen to this. Doc, on Tuesday, 3rd of June at 11 a.m., you had that the United Workers' Party held that press conference, Prosperity for Every Dominican press conference held by UWP. And you declared to Dominicans that you are going to increase the minimum wage to $12 per hour. The Prime Minister had nothing to say. From June 3rd to November 3rd, then he come and talk about a proposal for him to increase. He haven't said what he's going to do. Doc, 150 days later, the Prime Minister responding. I take it to mean that the Prime Minister is copying what you have said to try to make an impression that he's interested in increasing the minimum wage. Mr. Prime Minister, I can tell you, you should be congratulating Dr. Fontaine for this vision, because he was the one who set that stage, and you never replied. But on November 4th, in your speech, you quickly tell Dominicans you have some response, you respect, and you still cannot tell us. You had 5 months.
Even today at the press conference, they still cannot say
How much. So you have been leading
and who will be impacted. They still cannot say that.
Yes, I must congratulate you for taking the lead. So he's known that. And something else again, well, you know, the ERC must be, yes, this is a caller on the line. Caller, good evening to you.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, sir.
I just want to follow up on what Mr. Isaac said.
Yes.
Because it appears that, I don't know if it's the average of most Dominicans, do not understand fully the value of the environment, the natural environment that Dominica has been blessed with.
Yes.
And I do not understand why more people do not support those who are advocates for the environment in terms of wanting to protect our hills, our valleys, our rivers, our forests. We are proud as Dominicans to have almost 60% of our land still covered in forest, which is a unique phenomenon that we have that we can use to our advantage in terms of having a unique tourism product in the Caribbean. And so what Mr. Baptiste explained is that there's a prescribed law that you can follow in terms of wanting as a citizen to gather information regarding a project, especially a project of that magnitude. I don't think there's a Dominican who there's politics in everything, but I don't think there's a Dominican who honestly doesn't want Dominica to have an international airport. And a professional like me, Mrs. Edwards, who acted in the functions of acting chief, she is requesting, according to law, a copy of particular documents that, according to the law, must be tabled for such a project to take place. And I happened to be passing by a radio sometime, I don't know if it was after 11 or what time, but around the time a press conference was taking place. So when I heard the question, because I sort of think I'm someone who is concerned about the environment personally. So I listened, and I was kind of disappointed at the twist that was given to the response. Because all the lady was doing, she wrote, which is prescribed by law. It was not given to her. Her next, she cannot go to the planning department and, like a crazy lady, just start to open drawers and files and look for the document. She then petitions the court to make the head provide those documents for her. I'm using my calculator to work out how does this equate somebody who is against the state? How doesn't that equal somebody who is against development? How does that equal somebody who is against the airport? And so I think much more of us, for example, bus drivers, tour operators, hoteliers, restaurateurs, the people who are directly involved in the tourism sector, they must not leave the question of the environment only to the few people who have the passion for it. Because the day we lose that nature island icon of Dominica, that tagline we have, the day we lose it, what are we going to tell people for them to come to Dominica? And so we must protect the few who are speaking up about the environment. We must protect them. And when people go after them to savage them, we must let them know, and we must call them out and let them know. Your approach to the response of the young lady seeking information according to law was wrong, and you even need to make a public apology to the young lady, because I do not think Mrs. Edward is against. She just wants to ensure that what is required, an environmental impact assessment. We're supposed to do certain other tests. We're supposed to meet. These are things that are prescribed, and if it's not done, and she's asking to verify that it was done, what is the head? Is that is there something to hide? I am almost getting suspicious that there probably is no EIA, and so that she cannot provide something that she doesn't have. Good night, gentlemen.
Yes, well said. Thank you very much. And just for a callers, well, someone on the tech side said on the end stream said, look, yes, people are always calling for people to go out, but when you are called out, most of you don't come. So I hope when that time comes that you can show it. But what we can say now, though, is that let's concentrate on confirmation. And for the notice that we read there, or the Electoral Commission office has put out, it is not for confirmation. They put this suspension. They put it for new registration. So confirmation continues, and we are asking persons with the required government ID, one either a passport or a driver's license or a social security card, to get out there and let us confirm. Let us do the application for confirmation. They would have liked that we boycott it, so that when a year comes that your name would be struck off the register. No, we are participating. We'll have to deal with this government, and we'll make sure that they are out. We want them out. But gentlemen, we are over time now. Very good. We can go on, but there comes a time. We're over time. Mr. Baptiste, your parting.
Yes, not much to say except to call on the Honorable Prime Minister to let him know that you're a leader of a country, Mr. Prime Minister. I know you have to play your politics, but on important issues like that, national development, as you say, the International Airport project is for the country. It is for future generations. And those of us who are aware of the issues that are impacting such projects, you and we are talking about it, you should not look at it in this negative way. And the last caller is right. I think Mrs. Edwards deserves an apology from you, and I know you will not do it, but it is a good call, and that you should actually be speaking to the developers or the contractor of that project to let them know that we need to do things properly and ensure that the proper studies are done. With respect to the electoral reform exercise, I would like to appeal to the members of the Electoral Commission, particularly the 3 attorneys on that commission who are appointed by the President, Excellency the President and the Dominican Labour Party, that you once you're appointed, you become members or agents of the state. You're working for the country, not for a political party. And I'm certain that you all are learned enough to know that what is going on is not correct. Mr. Duncan, so you're my neighbor. You live with me next to Castle Comfort right next to my home at Castle Comfort. I saw you growing up in Greens Lane. So therefore, your behavior right now is inconsistent with your upbringing. So I would like to ask that you all do something better than that. The law has been passed. It is not what we wanted, but we have to work with it. So let us work with it so that everybody, the majority of the persons, will be satisfied with the result. Right now, it is not right. And you, Madam Chief Elections Officer, you're not working for the Labour Party. You might be a strong Labourite, but the position you hold is one that you are working for the country, and act that way and ensure that the persons who are doing the exercise, they behave themselves as public servants acting and working for the public. That's what I have to say.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Well, for me, I just want to say that apparently the process of confirmation is broken from everything that we've heard. What we need is for the Electoral Commission to fix the process so that it can conform fully with the electoral laws. And by fixing, we continue to demand that the Electoral Commission immediately revert to SRO 27, which will allow for the use of the birth certificates along with the affidavit and the picture, the pictures of the individuals. That's one. Secondly, that they immediately recommence the registration process, because there is no reason why for a simple form that cannot be done overnight. Do that as a second. And number 3, that they ensure that there are confirmation centers in every village of Dominica. No village should be asked to transport itself wholly to another place to confirm. That's an undue burden, an unnecessary burden that can be fixed easily. Allow the enrollment officers to be the ones doing the rotation rather than an entire population, entire villages. This cannot work. This is only disenfranchising thousands of Dominicans who otherwise would want to participate in the process. And fourthly, very importantly, for large constituencies like Roseau, North, Roseau Central, and other areas, very large constituencies, 2 confirmation centers are simply not enough. You need to ensure again that the confirmation centers are distributed throughout the constituency so that confirmation becomes as easy and as seamless as voting. There's no reason why you can organize a vote to allow everybody to vote within a few meters of their home, and then to confirm they have to go miles. That is unfair, and we need to rectify this ASAP so that the process can continue.
Yeah, thank you. Let me just say we missed this one, but condolences is out to Mr. family of James Murray from Kalibishi, who died on the 5th of November. He was a large banana, root crop, and tree crop farmer. So his funeral is on Saturday coming for those who can attend, will attend. And remember, Mr. Timothy is being laid to rest Saturday coming. So for those of us, we will be there for sure in large numbers. And tomorrow, the funeral service of Miss Doreen Simon, Nelson Simon's wife. Let me just come thank you, gentlemen, for coming in this evening. I think it's a very interactive program. A number of persons was trying to get in. Mr. Baptist, thank you for your time. I know you're always busy, but thank you for making time for this program tonight. Honorable Dr. Fontaine, I know that you are working tirelessly. And man, I tell you, I don't know how to compliment you for the work that you do, but I'm happy that you were able to clear the air on some of the mischief making by the Prime Minister. And it was clear you don't deny anything that you said. In fact, what you did was to clarify, because it seemed to me he was twisting it in his way to gain political favor. But I think at the end of the day, he lost out on it. Thank you very much. Thanks for those who participated and called. Until next time, we say good night.
Gone to see the Eagles at Bataclan Concert Hall. They both survived the attack. Ben gave the BBC's Krupa Pardee his reflections on that evening 10 years ago.
When we arrive in the show, we say, okay, let's stay in front of the stage. Super nice view. And I think this first decision helps a lot, because we would have been in the middle of the shooting, and of course you don't know the end there. So we start to hear kind of fireworks noise. We didn't know what happened, and technical things, maybe the lights or whatever. The band was continuing to play. And then the band stopped playing, and then people were screaming, and then we just see kind of a wave of people moving toward the stage. Our first, let's say, reaction was to stand to see what happened. And then we had people who just took hands on our shoulders and no, hide yourself. So we just hide in between the seats. And because we see just an exit sign and say, okay, I mean, this is the most rational decision. Let's go to the exit. I told to my brother to go, let's go. And the thing is that he was on the phone with the police. So I started to run to the door. And when I arrived, I saw that he didn't move from his previous position. And at exactly this moment, then a terrorist coming in on his back with the Kalashnikov. But the thing is that my brother didn't see the guy behind him. And he was telling me he cannot come because there were people shooting on the side. And at the end, he just come because I was begging him to come. So he ran. He was brave enough to run and join me. Actually, we were super lucky, because whatever other